I'm taking the Bengals.
I'm going with the Eagles over the Niners. Takes us to the Rams at the Colts. What do you think, Sam?
This is a good matchup. This is maybe one of the best matchups of the 1 o'clock games. I'm going to go with the Rams in this one, but closer than you'd think.
I agree. So I'm taking the Rams in this game.
Absolutely.
Correct!
I think that, if you got Tennessee working the run game, mixing in the pass, play action, Ryan Tannehill getting comfortable, they're a dangerous team, and they can keep up with anybody, including the Seahawks. I'm calling last week a fluke. I'm going with Tennessee. You're right. I totally respect your decision on that, but I can't believe that team just goes away walking into an 0-2 hole looking like that.
Welcome back. Week 3 NFL Pick'em Challenge, League of Superfans.
Week 3. Got all tied up last week, Joe.
Yeah, looks like you pulled out the victory for last week.
You won! You did it!
You had a pretty good week at 12-4. We bounced back from the first week.
Yeah.
At least for a respectable record.
Well, we'll see who breaks the tie.
Yeah, we'll see. We got a long season to go. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Thursday night game, Carolina Panthers at Houston Texans. Who you got, Sam?
Carolina Panthers showed me a lot last week. I mean, 2 games, 2 wins. Sam Darnold looked strong throughout. I mean, who saw that over the Saints? Obviously, neither one of us did if you watched the show last week. And the Texans, after they lost Tyrod Taylor last week, they just absolutely fell apart. The report is that he's expected to miss some time. So I'm going Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going Carolina here too. I think they're a young, up-and-coming team, and the Texans are still surprising people with how well they're playing.
Yeah.
Takes us on to the Colts at the Titans. Big game this week for that division. I like, the Titans had a big game last week, a nice bounce-back victory from the Week 1 loss. It wasn't looking so good for a little bit there, but
last second, eke out that win.
Derrick Henry got it going, rushed for 180-something yards, and they took the W. I think they're a better team.
Just win, baby.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yep. I'm staying with Tennessee here this week. It'd be a lot closer if Carson Wentz didn't get crushed by Aaron Donald last week, but I'm feeling that Tennessee is finding their footing, and they're starting to get hot.
Agreements. Which takes us to your Atlanta Falcons at the New York Giants. Sam, I'm going to take this one first so you can finish it off.
Okay.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Giants.
Really? All right. Well, I'm going to be at this game, so I got to pull for my Falcons. But honestly, I'm going to have trouble picking the Giants at all this year. Unless something really serious happens, I don't see how Daniel Jones could not be on the hot seat. You're wasting some really good offensive weapons that they have there in the skill positions. The trenches are starting to improve. Could still use some work for sure. The defense is solid. The defensive front, at least, is very strong. But they're just, if your quarterback's going to fumble left and right and, inaccuracy, it's the most important position in sports for a reason. I'm going to take the veteran leadership here of the Atlanta Falcons. They improved a lot from week 1 to week 2. I know they got drubbed by Tampa Bay, but for a while that game was within 3. I saw a lot more out of that team, and I think that they're finally going to get their first win of the season against New York.
All right. Yeah, I think Joe Judge is under the gun here. He needs a victory, and I like the Giants defense better than the Falcons, so game's in New York. I'm taking Saquon to get going and them to control the ball, control the clock. And I think they'll pull it out in the end. We'll see.
Okay.
This takes us on to the Chargers at the Chiefs.
Chiefs got to be mad after that loss, huh?
Yeah.
I think they're going to come out hot.
Yeah, it's, lose the game like that, the end of the game by 1 point to the Ravens. That's a heartbreaker. So, but it's still early on in the year. They still have a lot of weapons. They're going to put a lot of points on the board. The game's in Arrowhead. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think Justin Herbert's still a little bit too raw. Take the victory here.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs as well. Divisional matchups are always anybody's game, but I'm going to take the veteran leadership and experience of the Chiefs.
Yeah, they're not losing 2 in a row. Takes it to the Bengals at the Steelers.
Another team that is angry about a loss. Steelers got punched in the mouth. They're about to come back hot. Another divisional matchup. They're at home. They lost in front of the home crowd last week. They're not going to let that happen 2 weeks in a row. Give me the Steelers.
Yep. Bengals, young, up-and-coming team. They want to prove that they can play with the Steelers and overtake them in the division, but I still think it's too early. Steelers defense is good. Give me the Steelers.
Agreed.
Which takes us to the Bears at the Browns. I think this game might be closer than some think.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is going to get the start. There's not too much tape on him yet. I think he can come in there, run around the field, make some plays. And the Browns are playing okay, but I don't think they're not hitting on all cylinders yet. But that being said, I'm sticking with the Browns at home.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Browns still don't get Beckham back before this game. And I mean, their pass rush is hitting home. And, no matter what kind of offensive line you've got in Chicago, Myles Garrett's still going to get his. The best way that they're going to be able to avoid that is escapability. Justin Fields is definitely giving them a better chance to win. I'm still taking Cleveland in this one, but if Justin Fields has a solid showing here, I think that will turn the tide. You probably won't see Dalton again unless things go horribly bad.
All right. This takes us to New Orleans Saints at New England Patriots.
This has got to be the toughest matchup to pick of the week, right? I mean, with the Saints, you saw 2 completely different teams between week 1 and week 2. Typically, you would understand if it was the other way around, where they came out flat week 1 and then they just had that dominant showing on week 2. But to flip that, who knows what to expect? Very reminiscent of Jameis Winston's entire career. Never know what to expect, but I'm going to go with New England. It's the more consistent performance, and they're at home. Belichick never loses at home.
Yeah, I like New England to cause a couple turnovers, confuse Jameis Winston. He's good at that, so I'm taking the Patriots.
Absolutely.
Takes us to the Cardinals at Jaguars.
Cards are red hot. Let's be real.
Yeah, right now the Cards are looking like one of the better teams in the NFL. Kyler Murray on pace for possibly an MVP season. And the Jaguars aren't there yet. Cardinals all day.
Yep. Urban Meyer will get his, but it's not time.
Which takes us to the Washington football team at Buffalo Bills.
Good offense versus a good defense.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's still not hitting on all strides yet, but they kicked Miami's butt last week. So I'm going with Buffalo this week. I think they're just only going to get better from here on out through the rest of the year.
Agreed. No way Washington can keep up with their scoring.
Takes us to the New York Jets at Denver Broncos. So far, so good for Teddy Bridgewater on the Broncos. They're looking pretty good.
Great.
Defense is solid. Defense is strong. Melvin Gordon's putting up some yards. Javonte Williams is putting up some yards. Denver all day.
Hot take. Could Teddy Bridgewater be their franchise quarterback?
I think he can. I mean, he was doing good in Minnesota before that gruesome leg injury. That wasn't an injury. So, maybe the guy.
I mean, and he was consistent in New Orleans and Carolina as well. I mean, he's still young. I don't see why he couldn't make a run with that Denver team.
The West is looking tough right now.
True.
Takes us to my Miami Dolphins at Las Vegas Raiders. I'm not going to lie. The optimism that I had going into last week is not still there. Tua's hurt, fractured ribs. He's going to be out for probably 3-4 weeks. His biggest question mark about the man succeeding in the NFL was his durability, and he missed a game last year, thumb issue in practice. Now this year, second game, he's missing time. So it's proven that he's injury prone. That being said, I could still find a way for Miami to win this game, but the Raiders are hot right now, and unless it's a huge letdown, they should easily beat Miami.
Raiders are hot right now. Their pass rush is hitting home. Max Williams is having himself a good start to the season at the end. They've got good rushers. Maurice Hurst at the D tackle position as well. And Miami's weak spot has always been their offensive line. The defense is looking solid in Miami. I mean, maybe they can limit some scoring, but I don't see Jacoby Brissett keeping up.
No, they got to turn the ball over at least 3 times if they have any chance in that game. And Derek Carr doesn't turn the ball over that much. He's a decent quarterback. So
no, he's safe. He plays it safe. Vegas
takes us to Seattle at Minnesota Vikings. Seattle broke my heart last week. I took them to beat the Titans. It was looking good throughout the majority of the game, but they couldn't stop Derrick Henry, and that's the Titans' recipe for success. I don't like their chances at stopping Dalvin Cook this week. And you got Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson. Minnesota's going to be able to score points. I think they're going to be able to keep up with the offense of Seattle, and I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah, absolutely. Losing KJ Wright in the offseason definitely looks to have really hurt Seattle's run defense. And Dalvin Cook is exactly what the doctor ordered for that game. I know I haven't picked Seattle at all this year, but if you get Dalvin Cook setting up solid play action pass to allow Kirk Cousins to do some work with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, or Smith, the list goes on. Give me Minnesota at home.
Which takes us to possible game of the week, possible future playoff matchup, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Los Angeles Rams. Right now, the Buccaneers are looking like clearly the best team in the league, with the offense and the defense both being strong. They look like the most well-built team, most balanced team. The Rams are looking pretty good so far to start the year. Matt Stafford looks great. Cooper Kupp looks great. You got Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. Everybody knows the names. This game could go either way. I don't think Tampa's going undefeated this year, but I don't think they're going to lose this game. I'm going with the Bucs.
Well, we were talking about this before the show, and I said if there was a team in the NFC that I thought would keep up with them, that it would be the Rams. I did that before I actually before I thought about that matchup was this week. I'm going to stick to my guns on that. The Rams are at home. It's a new stadium. Brady's never played there before, so just a little bit of uncertainty. I mean, that shouldn't shake somebody that's 44. And you're right; they have been playing very well, but they did lose, or they did just barely win that game against Dallas in Week 1. And you know what? I know the final score is not indicative of it, but if you watch that entire game last week of Atlanta and Tampa, Atlanta got a lot more stops than I thought they would on defense. And for a while, they were sitting at 25-28. They were completely out of the race and came back almost unanswered. And until a tip pass turned into an interception, pick six, what have you, then Tampa ran off with it. They looked like they could have lost to Atlanta. If they were playing a competent team, they might have lost last week. I'm not saying that they're bad. Absolutely not. You're right. They are probably the best team in the NFL. I mean, the Chiefs can still give them a run for their money. But the Rams might be the team to do it. You're right. They're not going to go undefeated this year. The Rams might be the team to do it. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, it's possible. They got a good shot. So I didn't watch the Falcons Bucs play last week, but I did see they had 2 interception returns at the end of that game. So Tampa made their way back in the game, but Was the game out of hand? Were the Buccaneers so far ahead that it seemed like they just weren't, playing as hard as
No,
possibly the beginning of the game?
no, they were still bringing pressure. I mean, Todd Bowles always brings pressure no matter what the game is. They were still playing. Brady was still out there throwing hard. They were trying to mix everything in. It wasn't just a run the clock kind of team. And we're talking about out of the second half through the third quarter. Atlanta made their run there. So I really do. If they were playing a healthy Colts team or the Bills or a team that you would call above league average, because I'll be real, the Falcons are comfortably below league average at this point. If they were playing an above average team, they probably would have lost last week. And I believe that the Rams are definitely above average. They'll have to bring more than they brought last week to beat the Rams.
I agree. All right. So we've got the Baltimore Ravens at the Detroit Lions. The Lions the other night
punched in the mouth.
I mean, I don't think they're any good, but they're doing better than I expected. So Ravens all day.
Yes. Ravens are flying high after that win. Lions are on short rest. Ravens.
Lamar Jackson's too good, so best player on the field.
Yes, he is.
Green Bay Packers at San Francisco 49ers. I am kind of shocked that the Packers are the underdog here. I understand San Francisco is a good team, but the running backs are hurt again. First 2 weeks of the year, running backs are hurt. Last year, they had a lot of injuries. Who's going to get hurt this week? It seems like that's who they are. Aaron Rodgers lost in week 1. They won. They picked it up, played good last week. So, I think the Packers are going to take this game. I like Green Bay on the road over San Francisco Sunday night.
I will agree with you. San Francisco's scheme, Kyle Shanahan's scheme, does not require you to have a stud running back. They can pick up somebody off the street and turn him into a elite rusher. They've done it time and time again. He's done it everywhere he's gone. Look at Alfred Morris. Look at Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, what he did with Mostert and all these guys since he's been in San Fran. Losing Trey Sermon hurts. He is a good back. They've lost a lot of other backs through this, but they have so many that they were willing to let, Wayne Gallman, who looked hot, just walk away. They can turn a guy into a rusher if they need him. Meanwhile, Green Bay, who has a similar scheme, if Matt LaFleur used to be under Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Jones is a superstar. Aaron Jones had a monster performance. Your scheme doesn't need a dominant running back, but it sure helps to have one. When that's happening, it doesn't matter if Rodgers is on or off. He's usually on anyway. But, they can lean on a performance like that like they did last week. I'm taking Green Bay anyway. They're going to find their feet. They're going to become the dominant team they were supposed to be this year.
Well said. Monday night, Eagles at Cowboys. Eagles let me down last week in my picks. Very upset. The Cowboys have a lot of weapons on offense. Dak Prescott is looking pretty good to start the year. The offensive line looks good. They're going to put points up. They're going to be a tough team to stop on offense this year. So Cowboys.
Yep. NFC East matchup, divisional matchups, like I said before, are always hard. They're both good teams, both strong defensive fronts. Mostly strong defensive front for Dallas. But, you've got the Eagles. I don't think Jalen Hurts is ready for Monday night primetime just yet, especially if you got DeMarcus Lawrence in his face, putting up pressure. If Cowboys score early, they're going to run away with it. Give me the Dallas Cowboys.
We're in agreement. All right. So this week, we only have 2 picks, 2 games we differed on.
Yeah, that's it.
I think so. I got the Buccaneers. You got the Rams. I have the Giants. You have the Falcons. Otherwise, the rest of the schedule, we're pretty, we're on the same page. So it's, this year it's going to be tight throughout the whole season, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And both of those games can go either way. I'm feeling good though.